Welcome to Product Marketing Alliance. We're home to everything a product marketer needs to learn, share, and succeed in their role. The definitive product marketing course, Product Marketing Core, is the perfect platform for experienced product marketers to broaden their existing knowledge, as well as educate newcomers beginning with their product marketing journey. Our community. We're home to more than 10,000 product marketers across the world, and every single day, tons of product marketing specific conversations go down. The community hasn't just been an absolute wealth of knowledge and answers, it's the place for constant inspiration. With a PMA membership plan, everything a product marketeer could possibly need is all in there, all in one place. Whether you want to grab a template, learn about how to become more strategic from product marketeers who've mastered it, sit back and watch hundreds of hours of presentations from some of the world's most trusted brands, our packages have got it all and more. We really are, dare we say it, the one-stop shop.
Welcome back to PMA Take 10, PMA series in which we chat with a product marketing expert about a topic of their choice for 10 minutes or thereabouts. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by JD Prater, Global Head of Product Marketing at Amazon Web Services on the Activate team. In this episode, we'll be discussing how to establish product marketing in your company and what it's like being the first product marketer at a company. Thanks so much for joining me, JD.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you.
So first and foremost, product marketing, it's a role that isn't necessarily universally understood by companies. What's your advice for product marketers who are trying to establish the role of the function?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be really tough for anyone coming in, being the first product marketer. You have to know this will be one of your biggest challenges. This will be one of your biggest hurdles, is getting other teams to understand what you do. And so highly recommend when you're coming in those first 30, 60, 90 days, you need to be meeting with everyone. So really work on meeting other team members, definitely with the leads of all the departments, learn about their role, but also explain what you're here to do. And so I think that's a really first thing that I would recommend, explaining what you do. I'm also a big fan of setting up a document, and you can kind of think of this as like your charter, think of it as your tenets, and really outline what your role is, what you do. So you've already kind of should have maybe some bullet points that are in the job description, right? And now take that and show how you're going to help establish this role, what your role is doing, what are your goals that you're hoping to accomplish, and of course, level those up to business goals, level those up to product goals, and then distribute that amongst other teams, right? Of course, get executive buy-in is probably my third tenet, my third thing that I would recommend that you get. So the first one was meet everyone, tell them what you do. The second one is document it, share out the document. And then number 3 is get that executive buy-in. So you kind of have that tops down approach as well. So the first two are really kind of that bottoms up. Next piece is getting that tops down, that executive approval and that buy-in. Obviously, this job was approved by someone, but you want to make sure that you have that executive level buy-in. So that way, when you go to start implementing and putting forth strategy, everyone's on board and kind of agrees.
Okay, awesome. And which methods have you specifically used to communicate and educate other internal teams about your product marketing role?
Yeah, so I mentioned in-person meetings. I mentioned that document. Another way that I think is really good, depending on your company culture, is I love doing like trainings almost, right? So come in and maybe it's the 30 days, 60-day mark, give a training. Maybe it's to the teams that are involved. Maybe it's even company-wide, but kind of just think through a lunch and learn. Maybe it's part of I would say a standing meeting, however you can, but train, because you're going to have to evangelize the role. Just like you're evangelizing the product to customers, you're going to have to do a lot of internal education, because what will end up happening is everyone has their own idea of what product marketing is, and you want to course correct that as quickly as possible. And you want to do that in a way that is consumable and how they prefer to be communicated with, right? So a document for people that like to read, presentations for those that want a presentation. And then of course, maybe that tops down approach, right? Where you're getting that ultimate buy-in at the highest level.
Okay, and in terms of challenges, what challenges have you faced as the first product marketer at a company, and how did you overcome any obstacles that came your way?
I mean, what you're going to end up having outside of establishing the role and getting everyone to understand, I think the next thing is, what do I work on? You're going to come in and there are going to be so many competing priorities. There's going to be even more. And so it's figuring out, how do I prioritize for the highest impact? And that's what you ultimately want to do. So think through your 2x2 grid, if you will, with impact and time, and try to find some quick wins, right? Those are the ones that you can quickly knock off that are going to help people. And I'm hoping that you gathered some of those whenever you're doing those one-to-one meetings as you're meeting everyone. So when you're doing those one-to-ones, I love to ask the question, how can I best help you? And hopefully you're going to get some really good responses. And hopefully you're going to get some that are actually really easy wins for you, but might be a lot of work for that other person, right? So this could be something as simple as a messaging doc. I say simple, but putting together a messaging doc or a framework, or putting together a launch strategy. It could be as simple as just writing a couple of copy for like a feature for the product team, right? And so thinking through these different types of activities that are very core to a product marketer, but try to get those early wins on the board while also thinking very strategically about what priorities you're going to take on. Because after the 90-day mark, you're going to need to be seen as a strategic person that can put together a full go-to-market strategy, but also get those early and quick wins to help build and gain trust, where that's also a big challenge, is earning that trust amongst other team members.
Okay. And then in terms of trust, it kind of lends itself nicely into the last question I've got for you. So how can product marketers get crucial buy-in from key stakeholders when they're trying to develop their product marketing function?
I think the thing that I see a lot of product marketers do, and I would say make the mistake, is working in a silo. You have to work in public. You have to be transparent about the work you're doing and getting that early feedback. So what I mean by that is, if you're putting together a strategy, you need to be bringing in maybe your head of sales, maybe the head of customer success, and the head of product to help evaluate that strategy, to get their feedback, to make sure that you're moving on the right path, to make sure that they're in agreement and alignment. Because if you just roll it out at the very end, after a month or two of doing all this work and they're not bought in, you're going to have problems. And that's a different type of problem. So I would say start early, get the feedback, get alignment, and make them a part of the process. I mean, that's key, because ultimately you have to influence without authority, and you influence by earning that respect and earning that trust. And I would say tactically bringing them in early into your process, and then ultimately incorporate that feedback too. That's another thing. So just because you asked for it and they gave it, try to get and pick and choose those battles, is what I would also say whenever you're, sales team saying, I think this should be the messaging. And you're like, well, pick and choose your battles, right? Get those early wins, and then ultimately have an opinion, be able to defend it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time, JD. That was great. And all the very best for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. I hope you appreciate it.